Good evening, good evening, good
Now,
evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of the 11th Ornament.
11th Ornament.
Indeed. We rejoin our party this evening after 2 sessions of not a difficult combat, but a drawn out combat, a large combat against various foes. As our party has recently found themselves stumbling forth into what would be considered the countryside, the rural countryside, anywhere other than the Underdark. um, they have come to the Underdark to seek the location where the river Styx intersects with the Mangerio Plain. There to buy passage with the ferryman all the way to the Font of Divinity, the final realm where Ao the Overgod resides. They can ride the river Styx all the way to that original destination in the hopes of asking Ao to once again impose order on the realms, as he did eons ago by banishing Titans from Faerun and Aber and Toril, and leaving gods in Toril, banishing Titans to Aber and leaving gods in Toril, to impose order. Uh, the party has befriended, by necessity, the denizens of Kresalak, the merfolk Marrow and Sahuagin who reside there, who have guided them down into the deepest trenches of their realms below the ocean's surface, and there into a chasm, ultimately through a magically protected barrier made of pure mercury, liquid mercury, and into the lowest, deep, dark, crystal clear, pure water pools of water, where they ascended and found themselves in a crystal cavern illuminated by bright, glowing lights. And the mood is ruined by my dog squeaking toys in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Um, beautiful. So, as the party ascended up through the crystal clear water and found themselves in this cave, where these massive crystals were producing light, they saw some portions of the cave which were carved into stairs and hallways and smoothed into walkways where they could, um, were clearly intended for sentient beings to trespass upon. And as they ascended up from this space, they found themselves in the presence of a small clan of Kuotoa, a piranha-like people known in the Underdark and abroad as a people with such powerful ability to believe in things, such a powerful faith-based theocratic system that they could accidentally cause gods to become. These creatures were more often sought after by other creatures which could bend them to their wills, such as illithid, mind flayers, beholders, and aboleths deep within the Underdark, for the purpose of drawing these creatures into believing that they were divine and using the Kuo-toa's immense power of faith to bolster their own strength and powers. You did not take an opportunity or have the opportunity to really investigate what this clan of Kuo-toa may have been involved in or worshipping, if they had something to worship at the time. But as you approached and intruded upon their fishing, as they stood upon these stone walkways across a vast subterranean lake, illuminated by these crystal structures which form out of the earth, they did not take kindly to your intrusion, or really have the capacity to understand your efforts to make peace and parley, and therefore immediately resorted to violence. You responded in kind with what turned out to be a quite drawn out combat, but ultimately, by the end of our last session, managed to put down all of these creatures. And as their fish-like corpses now litter the stones, their red blood pooling and dripping over the onyx walkways, you can smell that kind of mercurial smell of rotting fish, which sullies the otherwise stagnant but cool, crisp air in this subterranean cavern. As combat comes to a close and you fell the final foe, an eerie silence once again falls over the chamber. The occasional drip from a stalactite into the otherwise placid pool of cool water. It's the only sound that accompanies your ragged breathing as you finish this. Cole! As you finish this combat. So, anybody have anything else to add to the recap? It was just combat basically that you missed, Cam.
Cool.
The Kuatoa had a number of clerics among them that were able to cast healing magics over themselves and their allies, bringing back even the most maimed and apparently destroyed corpses that you had beheaded and cauterized. It seems through the power of their faith, they were able to regrow and amend their appendages, their skulls, even as these powerful faith-based magics washed over them. They made for quite fanatic, if easily dispatched foes. They were persistent, if nothing else. Does anyone have anything to add to that?
The only thing that I would say is that Vale, before the fight was actually even over, Vale was done with the fight. And he dealt with the ones that he was dealing with, but then knew that you would dispatch the rest. He walked into that mine shaft you see.
Mm-hmm. Here.
He did notice some runes and things that he didn't understand, and we're starting with that effectively as last, at least from Vale's perspective, like that. And in fact, the last question was asked, "Are you sharing this with the party?" He's like, "I will next week," because it was late.
It was late. It was late for us. Yep. Yeah. So Vale had stepped into this the mine shaft, thusly, and seen a couple of unusual runes. So we are still waiting on our dear friends, the pilots for Tour and our changeling Bell / Mathesis, who is currently in the form of Bell. Have not yet been able to join us this evening, but we will go ahead and jump into any questions you guys might have about the recap to ensure that everyone's on the same page, and otherwise catching up.
Nope, that all sounds good to me.
Awesome. Way to vamp.
We have not attempted to loot the bodies, have we?
You have not yet attempted to loot the bodies, to my knowledge. No.
Is that something we can do, or should we wait?
By all means.
Are these investigation checks?
This would be investigation checked as you proceed to pilfer and forage Um, as Dorn investigates the chamber, holding aloft his blazing firebrand sword of pure plasma, sorry, um, to illuminate the chamber, give some bright light. With a 9 investigation, um, you, Alucard, you do find a pouch, a large leather pouch. As you kind of feel it, you begin to think it might be full of rather large, precious pearls. And as you kind of like pull it open and pour them out into your hand, you realize that they are large fish eggs.
No, thank you.
Oh, we did already know that the fish eggs inside of the
Yes.
thing. We
The central chasm here, as you can see, kind of this area in the middle is a. Maybe you can't see with the lighting in here, but there is a pool of water here in the middle. And as Tour dove in after a number of enemies in order to make combat with them, he did notice along the walls of this interior shaft of water were large fish eggs.
That it's disturbing. I don't feel much like genocide though today. So we could just leave those be.
Dorn, with a 15, one of the clerical priestly individuals' bodies does hold a small pouch. As you begin to like paw through it, you find a small number of silver pieces which appear to have been minted on the Sword Coast somewhere. They are so old that the faces of whatever monarch they may have represented on one side are well worn away by hands and oh hi.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring everybody there.
Yeah, no worries. You find 3 silver pieces that appear to have been minted on the Sword Coast. Very, very, very old. But they're of the kind of square shape that you find Sword Coast style species. You also find 1 large gold piece, which is relatively. It's probably worth 2 gold in by weight anywhere else. It has on its back an enormous spider minted, printed into the coin, and on its front it has an inlaid silver piece in the center.
Interesting.
It has some Elvish writing around it. Do you read Elvish?
I believe so, actually.
I know
Yeah,
you can
I
use an
think he
action
does.
to read
Yes.
whatever, but
Yes, I do, just normally without my
okay,
circlet.
superb. Then you are able to discern that as you read this, it is minted for the empire of the theocracy of Drow who are loyal to Lolth. Just based on the, like, you know how it says, normally you'd find, like, in God we trust, it's like, in Lolth we trust, but, like,
I see.
in Elvish,
I
it doesn't
see.
specifically say a nation or a city or anywhere that it was minted, but has that sort of, kind of telltale indication.
Very nice. Okay, I will tuck those into a pocket on my person.
Okay.
Keep them separate from my other monies.
Okay. Will anyone else be rolling investigation? William. Or You can.
No, I've rolled everything for what I could roll, what I'd be interested in. I'm going to just tell
Yeah.
them.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah, I've already.
I don't know if it's so much a role. I would like to investigate. I suppose it would be a nature check. I would like to know if these eggs can hatch without assistance,
Mm.
or if they require like a family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will roll for you a nature check. You can. Nature. Nature. That's +1 for you, pal.
Yep.
For a total of 3.
Wow. Great rolls to start the night.
You have no idea.
Yeah,
So
you
where
don't
do
know.
I get off at 3?
Mm.
I just don't know.
No idea.
So what do you get off of 3? They definitely look like they might be fish eggs, although they could be frog eggs. And though you're not entirely certain, they could theoretically be birds' eggs. As you're looking at the little like creatures flapping around inside them, you're like, yeah, those could definitely be birds.
So given my background and where I'm from, I will like as the end of my only inhibition starts to reach its limit, which is still about 2 hours away, but as we start to approach and I become ravenous from my possible second point of exhaustion, Iken will try to subsist himself as he is very used to eating like tobiko, like fish eggs, and just take like 2 or 3 of these and start just like eating them raw.
Okay, each one is about the size of like a nectarine. These are not. This is not like caviar. This is like.
That should be
It
enough
is,
for like a
but
meal. Yeah.
You held up a hand like you could see it.
Yeah, if you like pop one in your mouth,
I have like
one
a,
would
like
take
a
your
fist.
entire mouth cavity, and as you pop down on it,
Oh, stop.
Yeah,
the juices
that's
fill
what
your
kinda
mouth,
gross.
and
with the like slightly jagged teeth from the Oni form, like just fucking chomping into it. Yep.
yep, okay.
This is disgusting.
And as your tongue like kind of like pushes aside that membranous exterior as you pop into the gelatinous yolk fills your mouth, and as your tongue presses up against the roof of your mouth, and you can feel the small bony body of the embryonic creature floating within the midst. And you kind of like crunch a little bit and just send it back. Just whole
Vale
thing.
is Vale is less disgusted. I remember he is a tabaxi actually. The eggs though.
I feel
will.
like Phil would be most likely to be like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I need for you to make a
I'm like-
Constitution saving throw.
Makes through.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Is it poisonous? Because I'm immune to poison.
Yes, I'm aware. Constitution save throw. Where's the Constitution save? For a total of 5.
Gee, man.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Hello.
Hi. Am I still
Is
alive?
a Constitution
No.
Constitution saving throw technically an ability check?
No?
Hey, we didn't talk about D&D 1 rules, right? Like
No, not
exhaustion.
yet.
I
We'll do
still
that
have
right
to-
now. Does someone want to message AJ for me? Off the table.
No, I have Laura's Discord and no phone.
I am driving
I can text
to the worst
AJ.
traffic I've seen in a
Okay.
while.
Cool.
I can text AJ. I text him.
Yeah. Will. Eken, as you put this nectarine-sized fish egg in your mouth, pop down on it, the yolk filling your mouth, the membranous exterior pushing up against your tongue and the back of your mouth, and you try and swallow the small, slightly, like, it's got like really flexible, poorly developed bones in this embryonic creature that was kind of floating in the interior. That part gets stuck in your throat. You cough it up.
Do I take any damage?
No, you just don't gain any benefit from that. You get, because of your culture and your tradition and your kind of familiarity with just the taste of roe with like fish eggs, you could probably eat the yolk of this delicacy. If it were to be strained and just provided to you, you would be one of the few people who that taste would not be repulsive to. But because of the size of these fish eggs and the development level of the embryo within, this was just kind of beyond that point.
Okay. So again, just looking for protein and some sort of sustenance, I will take one of our bowls and try to crack like 2 or 3 of these into one of them and take out the bones by hand and just eat those. And we can, if that's fine with you, I'll do that, and then we can just move on.
Yeah, we'll take a short rest here. Is that what I'm hearing?
He can with like a short rest, yes. And he'll meditate and regain his, mechanically he'll meditate and regain his key points.
Okay.
And that's what I'll do.
Yes. Quickly, circling back to loop Jonathan in on tonight's session. My friend, my companion, my ally, do you have any questions about last session, or do you have a pretty good memory of what happened?
We fought the fish people.
Whole session.
True and accurate.
That's what I remember. We were going through the other side. That's what I remember. We did not die to the fish people, if I remember correctly.
True and accurate. All right.
That's all I got.
Do you have any questions?
What happened since then?
Great
Ken's eaten some eggs.
Yeah, Ken has.
How do we stop the Titan? And when are you guys coming to Louisville?
Oh, yeah, important questions.
The 11th Ornament comes to Louisville. That is a special YouTube special that we need to make. And
here's an idea. 11th Ornament comes to Charlotte.
IRL vlogs.
11th Ornament is always in Charlotte, but Louisville will be an adventure.
11th Ornament is always as much in Charlotte as it is in Louisville. Which is to say, there's one member here.
That's not true.
It is more in Charlotte than it is in Louisville.
No, at least 2 of you live in Charlotte.
No, Jerry lives in Gastonia.
Okay, AJ lives.
AJ lives in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
At least 2 of you live in Charlotte.
That's true. AJ is like less than 6 minutes.
And I would even count Jerry realistically.
I would too,
I
except
live
that
in
I
Charleston.
argue with that.
I don't live in Charleston. I live in a place that has Charleston in the name.
4 of us don't live in Charlotte, and that's the majority. So.
Yes,
I
indeed.
got expensive clicky clacks today.
Yeah, brand new click-clack math rocks.
Because I roll on like real dice all the time.
Yeah.
Click clack math rocks.
That's the same tune as the 11th Ornament theme song.
Hey,
And it's the Age of Ashes
it's
theme
also
song.
the same tune as Age of Ashes.
You mean Order of the Phoenix?
Alright,
Yes, Word of the Phoenix.
Strixhaven Magic School.
Death Curse Captors!
Yeah. Although others of Strixhaven does not really fit in that anymore.
Others of Strixhaven!
Strixhaven.
Yeah, like I said. like I said, doesn't really fit in that.
Listen, I write timeless Claxis will, and I don't need your negativity.
You can force whatever you want. Does not mean that it really fits into it.
Yeah. All right. So,
Friends, there's some runes or writing that I don't know in this mine here to the
Oh,
southeast.
Um.
I don't say southeast, but you know what I mean.
over yonder.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps I can help.
Yes, perhaps the man who found a helmet and can speak every language, and not the person who spent most of her life trying to learn them can help. Yes, quite so. Quite so, Gorstag Dorn, if that is your real name. Absolutely.
Wait,
Are
36.
rather adorable when you're
Don't.
being
I'm right there with you, Alucard. Don't question that frame of reference. That
I'm feeling quite a bit of hostility.
No, don't feel hostility.
if-
I just
Not at
decided
all.
to make a
if-
scene.
I would rather enjoy it if you would go read these languages, please.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with you, actually.
I thought you were meditating.
I'll
I
walk
only
up
have
and
to meditate for 30 minutes of a long rest to get the benefit, but I do have to take a long rest.
I will use an action to activate the helmet of languages. The
Yes.
helmet of comprehend many languages,
you have
many
a
much
circlet.
languages.
Yeah, a copper circlet. Once again, actually, it might still be active.
Much language.
But you can
I do
re-trigger it because you did trigger it at the beginning of this combat. In
Oh
the
yeah, to
effort of
understand the.
communicating with the Kuatoa, not realizing that even as that you could understand their words, they had no earthly idea what you were saying to them.
That's valid. Okay, I will attempt to start reading these runes.
Yeah. As you descend
speaking
down
aloud what they say.
this mine shaft, it's a good 30 feet down the mine shaft. So, like, as you begin to walk, other people have to kind of congregate around or follow you descending into the shaft. I'll let people kind of decide what their individual intentions may be. Tour, having a natural affinity for being underground, happily accompanies you into a small, dark underground space as a dwarf. Everyone else, well, will be at your own individual discretion.
Back with them for sure.
Okay, cool. As you all descend about 20 feet down, again, Dorn holding forth his plasma blade to light the way, a sunlight-like glow illuminating the path ahead, bleaching the otherwise dark corridor, dark stone. You come to the end of the passage where it appears to be caved in. And you can see on the right-hand side, just kind of scratched into the wall, some words written in Gnomish.
This is why you like. Oh, what languages do you know? And it's like, oh well, I think we decided that I don't know Gnomish.
You don't know Gnomish, yeah.
What do these words say?
The words say, follow the sea, and by the sea, once to the sea, then follow the D. And D and E and F and G, and then back to A. All the way.
Right. Follow.
Follow the sea, and to the sea, and by the sea, and then to the D.
Not going quick is the issue.
I will say this, to prevent you from having to try and puzzle through this. As you read it aloud, Bell, while you look on, you don't recognize the writing at all. But as he begins to speak aloud, you instantly recognize Thieves' Cant. Whereas the words themselves are basically meaningless. on their own. That is the literal meaning as he reads them. But they are in a clear and evident jargon that you begin to pick up on. I'm like, wait a minute.
And Jonathan clearly thought that this was going to be some sort of musical thing, so I play the C scale, and then I go back to D, E, F, G, and then go to A, and it unlocks the door.
Makes sense.
That's
Oh,
the bar.
I was trying to spell a word with like D's and like I was trying to use the next letters. Like, but you're skipping. There's no way you open up vowels for this. Is where I was at.
Yeah, with your thieves cant, you do recognize that it is somewhat referencing. It's in kind of a cipher that is hidden behind musical notes. So that's the correct inclination. Because it goes, and your clue from that was that it goes from the G to the A. But as you're beginning to hear, you recognize a number of other kind of just tricks and slips of language there that, because I haven't really fully written out thieves can't, are very evident turns of phrases that you did not expect to hear. Point, and you recognize sort of a hidden message within the gibberish as Dorn reads it aloud, and you are made aware that there is a hidden passage in this chamber, a smuggler's passage.
Bell waits about 30 seconds.
Well, everyone else is like, to the C, and then the C, and the D.
Mhm.
And then the...
All right.
Mo-
D
more,
into
not
more
out of us.
D's.
No, not into the A, into the ah.
I,
Well, it's natural
Maybe.
down.
if I may.
If he died, he wouldn't bother to carve out the words. Ah.
I know it's more like
Ah.
Bell will pull out the wand secret passage finding.
Yes, the wand of secrets as you. As it kind of lifts up, floats over your hand, and spins. And points directly at the continuing passage down this shaft. There's just a pile of rock and rubble.
There's a secret passage here. Most certainly.
It
I would
looks like
recommend.
rather.
Yes, but what's this all about the D?
Well,
Just covered in rock.
It doesn't matter if there's a secret passage here.
it's a smuggler's passage if it makes you feel better. Just thought I'd share all the information that I have. What you're reading is Thieves' Cant. It'll translate to actual words, but unless you know what they're trying to say, you won't actually know what they're saying.
Do you know how to get past this pile of rock? Or is this not part of the secret passage?
From what I understand, it only saying that there is a passage. As far as knowing how to get past the rock, I do know a fellow. He's a torturly man, and he might be able to help us out. Unfortunately, I believe he's important Yanzaru.
Well, maybe we could just walk straight through it. Iken's gonna attempt to just walk through the rock.
Okay. You collide
Well,
with
he's short
rubble.
resting.
Like collide with a bubble?
Rubble.
Oh, rubble.
You walk into rock.
Rocks are
Confidently.
real.
Like platform 9 3/4
Do not
style.
worry.
You're just rushing your. Boom.
I will go off to the side. And begin casting a spell for the next minute.
Counterspell. Just kidding.
Make a check for it.
Is he within 60 feet? I don't know.
Oh, I had so much beer today. Oh my god.
he says as he drinks more beer.
So Renfair serves almost exclusively foothills.
Foothills.
Yeah. Brewing, and they have a pumpkin ale. It's actually quite good. Every time I burp, I'm just getting like pumpkin spice.
I'm gonna roll some etched stones
Mm-hmm.
for the next minute
Yeah.
as I hold on to the collar. that
As
we'd
Vale
stolen
begins actually
previously.
carving a large circle in the ground around him, with just like a random stone, almost like slate on, like flint on slate, kind of a chalky white line he draws around him in a circle. Simple runes around the exterior. He holds this dark cast iron manacle set, leash basically, in front of him, and begins ritually casting. Not ritually
No, it's
casting,
not a
but
ritual.
begins casting with a 1 minute cast time. The spell, Find the Path. You have to have a set of divinatory tools, such as bones, ivory sticks, cards, teeth, or carved runes. So you have. Would you like to have deducted that 100 gold, or did you specifically purchase something?
We definitely, this was part of our plan for a while. Yeah,
Yes. That's fine. I'm gonna let you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But tell
think-
me
I-
what
I
you
think
did
that I-
purchase.
I think that I did do that. I will deduct that if I need to. I think that I did.
I just don't
Right.
recall you specifically purchasing the divinatory tools for 100 gold.
You're probably right because I think that I might have assumed that the crystal would have worked. But yeah, no, I can do that.
Okay. And then tell me what specifically you can basically have found anything in Waterdeep. What would you have been drawn to as far as divinatory tools?
Some like white crystal stones.
Oh, like that you have in your hand?
runes. Yeah.
Runestones.
Yeah.
White crystals with gold inlay. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Superb. In the interim, what is everyone
I
else
almost
doing?
bought the red
about
ones instead.
60 seconds.
Bella's going to take a look at the rubble and see if there's a. Just investigate it to see if is it lodged super hard. Is there loose spots? Is there a smart way that we could go about this that we could unrubble this rubble?
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check.
When there it goes. Investigation. 28.
Damn, that's really good.
Thank
So
you.
as you investigate the rubble, it becomes quickly evident to you that every little piece of rock on this wall is staged. Everything from the large boulders down to the small gravelly pieces in between the cracks is carefully glued into place, painted to look like rock, and it's just an immaculate scene, but it's all one piece. You cannot remove dust and gravel. You cannot reach in and pull rocks away. As you do, you realize that it's all one elaborate construct.
That's very strange. Dawn, Alucard,
Yes.
what do you make of this? This-
Um,
everything is together. Everything is it's almost like it's one sheet of artwork even.
It's probably meant to be there to make you think that it was covered. It's a distraction.
Of course. How would we go about I wonder if we could break through it. Tor, would you like to punch something?
If you think that'll help, happy to punch some stuff.
Not sure what would hurt at this point. Give me one more moment.
Mhm.
Do I see a? Is there a puzzle to this? Like, when am I looking? Do I notice a locking mechanism? Are there patterns that I could? Is this something to figure out? or
As
is
you
this
look it
something to brute
over,
force?
for the player's perspective, I'll tell you, it is kind of reminiscent of like a like a stage, like a play, a stage prop background. Like this is probably all one something carved and shaped, maybe with plaster, maybe with putty, maybe with wood, maybe with metal, to be one construct of that is designed to look exactly like a caved-in portion of this tunnel.
So if we
Uh,
pull or push or try to lift,
To make this a little easier for us. If you would like.
depends on what that means, I
What are
suppose.
we looking for? We're looking for a door? I mean, I can expose this fake wall to the mist and be able to see everything in my radius perfectly. Being keyholes, walls, tracks, doors, anything. If air is escaping to the other side, I can see 20 feet on the other side of this wall.
I don't know
Anything.
if we want to use your resources like that.
Is it not possible for us just to lift the backdrop away from the wall?
I suppose.
Okay.
Let's tr-
I would say that should be for the people who are strong of arm, perhaps.
Has it been a minute?
yeah, at this point you finish. Casting the spell. The ring around you glows briefly with the accumulated power of your spell as it releases out, surging through the runes and lines that you've cut into the floor, connecting to the cast iron manacles in your hand. As you open your eyes, you can see, almost twisting through the air, hovering as if by the slightest breath, a single glowing thread of reddish light, like yarn. You could pull, follow, and it seems to come and tie itself to a neat bow around the manacles. It lifts up from your lap and seems to hover at about waist height in the center of this chamber, just generally, spectrally, down the hallway and disappear into the rubble. No one else can see this. Only Vale is aware of it, of this phenomenon.
I specifically, while this happens, I end up, and as I hold my click-clacky expensive rocks, the one that has four sides, because that's the sharpest of them, I grip it tight enough that it digs into them. I actually cut myself on it, and I bleed onto the white stone and get even more angry because I'm mad. Again, this is every time I cast a spell, I hope to see a different color, but I know I won't. And actually putting blood on my moonstone colored, like, only makes it worse for him. But all this is internal. I might say damn, and clean off the stones. No, this seems to be the shortest path at the very least. And there is a path, assuredly. You've already confirmed that, but there is one. I just don't know how. I again don't know how to get through.
So what's the play? You're staring at a clearly manufactured illusory wall.
We're going to try to lift it, smash it, twist it, pull it, pop it, even? Like, what do we...
I
Bop
would
it.
say we try to lift it away. I would say it should be Tor and Dawn who try to do that, as they are the strongest of us. Theoretically.
All right.
All right, I suppose I can give it the
Yeah.
old
He walks
candle
up
keep
and
dry.
lays his hands on it and immediately
Can I get
recoils
the
his
help
hands.
action by trying to identify the like weakest parts of the wall, like the best parts to like grab of the wall?
Okay, let me get through this part. As Tor walks up and like puts his hands on the bottommost rock, he immediately recoils. That's not rock at all. Puts his hands back on it. This isn't even stone. Slaps it. What is this? Alright, let's give it a try.
Dorn steps up and attempts to find a place for a handhold.
Yep, okay.
I want to use the help action to the door.
Okay.
So I don't think the Candlekeep try is the best option. You do know there's nothing but wizards there. They're not very strong.
It's just it's a turn of phrase, Al. That I'm sure this is not the first time you've heard it.
Strength check.
All right.
Tor rolls a natural one for a 6.
Ability check. I have one thing of exhaustion, but Ken is helping
great
me.
point. I was
Yeah,
kind of
so
waiting on.
You roll neutrally because I gave you advantage with the help action.
Right.
Well, so let's talk about this real quick. I was kind of waiting on AJ, but I think AJ's doing Overwatch stuff, even though he didn't mention that to me all day I was with him. He may have forgotten. Is there Overwatch stuff tonight?
There's a
He said-
combine.
He said
Not
he would have had to
combined.
lead
He
around.
said at 9. He said he'd be gone at 9, but this is early.
If he's not going to show up until 9, that means he's not going to show up.
No, he said he would leave at 9.
Oh,
He
no,
didn't
I
say
know.
he
I'm
wouldn't show
just saying that if he's not shown up by now, he likely won't show up.
All right. Anyway,
Right.
so I was waiting for the whole party to be here, but what I'd like to do with your consideration as the party, getting kind of like way above table, not just like kind of context above table, but mechanically above table. There have been some new rules released for exhaustion that are playtest. They are rules for 1D&D, how the players, how the builders of Dungeons and Dragons anticipate that exhaustion will work in the next iteration of D&D, and they are so much simpler, cleaner, and I think better than the current rules for exhaustion that I'd like to petition that we start using them right away as a homebrew rule at my table. For a number of reasons. The first being, effectively the way it will work now is instead of a table of exhaustion where you gain various levels and various things happen at certain levels, instead you can have up to 10 levels of exhaustion. And whenever you make a d20 test, so whenever you make a saving throw, ability check, or attack roll, you subtract your exhaustion level from the roll. So this is A, much easier to remember what the various things are. B, it's way more possible to accidentally, or rather, it's way more possible for the dungeon master to impose levels of exhaustion without them being incredibly punitive to the player. So they can come into play a lot more often where they make sense, where the party has done stuff that's actually exhausting, and it's not just like immediately to half speed or disadvantage. So disadvantage mathematically roughly comes out to like a -5 on your checks, which is pretty punitive. So whereas this would be, you get 10 levels of exhaustion before you perish from exhaustion, but up until that point it's a very linear scale whereby basically you just subtract your exhaustion level from your rolls. And I'd like to start using that kind of right away, especially in this sort of nitty-gritty. It's not a dungeon crawl, but you guys are having to make your way across unusual terrain, through strange lands and stranger folk. And I would like the opportunity to just slap you with exhaustion left and right, with you still having the ability to
I have a
recover
question.
and
Is
also
it going to be the same? Sorry. Is it going to be the same ways to get rid of exhaustion? Like one long rest is
yes,
still one level removed, and
yes,
you can remove one level with greater restoration.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But the idea being that you can theoretically stomach, you know, a couple of levels of exhaustion as a player before feeling like you are really
Having
dragging your other
problems.
party members down, or before you feel like we need to take a couple days to long rest, find a safe place to camp for several days to recover, which is, I think, brings a little bit more realism. You know, obviously in Dungeons and Dragons we play in a fantastical world where you can have a massive combat and then take one rest and make up the next day fully healed, fully fine. And you know, I'm large and by okay with that because you all have some degree of supernatural prowess as 13th level adventurers. You all have some degree of just incredibly either force of will or touched by magic of some kind, and so that just kind of that's a given. You're superheroes in this world, but kind of having this sort of marker that I can use more freely as just one more thing to tag you with without it becoming very quickly absurd. Um, and also kind of uh, not being so bad when you guys like immediately gain a level of exhaustion for various reasons that really feel like you ought to. So since this is, you know, kind of a not kind of a very cooperative game, want to know how you guys feel about. I don't generally switch the rules on you partially through a game because we all want to kind of continue to learn and operate under the same operating rules so that you all have an understanding of what's possible and how your mechanics work. So, but this to me feels like something that's easily interchangeable, swappable. So let me know,
I'm here for it.
how do you guys feel about that?
I love it. I think it's a great change.
I'm down for whatever you think is best, Sid. I will say I'm a little like scared about perpetually having negatives because, by all means, our guys should 100% be always exhausted because we never take more than 1 day of rest, and we never have time to. To be completely fair, we're always like we're gonna die,
So
the world is gonna end, we have to go. But it feels like we're gonna be perpetually exhausted, which in this rules would make sense
the
because we are
negatives
boss to
already
wall.
exist. Like
The negatives now he doesn't
Like,
impose
I
because they're too
already
harsh.
have. Yeah, I already take a negative every time. Maybe this isn't something that I've made so public, but every single time I assume the Oni, I have to take a point of exhaustion when I'm done. Period. So it's only because you remove a point and you sleep that I've been okay this whole time. And if I didn't, I would be at permanent disadvantage. Whereas even if I didn't, under the new rules, I would only take one minus to any check, which is way better than disadvantage. Like I could still have advantage with this. You could still take advantage and then just less one from your advantage roll.
Right.
Way better.
I want to be very clear. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
At all. I'm not disparaging
Okay.
it. I'm not debating it or anything. I just said.
So if we were to adopt
that
these
is-
new rules, we will be in the situation where right now Dorn would be rolling with advantage but -1 instead of rolling neutral because the advantage disadvantage would cancel each other out. So you would still be rolling with advantage but -1 because you have 1 level of exhaustion if we were to adopt these new rules. I haven't heard from Jerry or Will particularly.
I'm fine with it.
I've talked to you today. Sorry, isn't my lecture back? I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moved.
Great.
Yeah.
So now I need to roll with
Let it be
advantage
written.
with -1.
Yes.
Okay. 16.
All right. Tour rolls a natural 1 for a total of 6.
Ah.
The two of you like kind of hunker down.
It's not stone.
I don't think we're moving that.
Yeah, it's. I don't think we'll be able to make it budge. Does anybody have like, I don't know, dispel magic or something?
Oh, do we know that it's magical?
Bell pulls out the wand of magic detection.
Puts her 1 or
Hold
2
up,
yards
one
away.
moment. Let me put
Okay,
this
wait a
away.
minute.
Grab this one.
As a luminous wave, like sonar, erupts 360 degrees from the tip of the wand, washes over the room. You can see an aura of abjuration magic and illusion magic washed over the fake stone wall.
It is indeed magical. I can't do anything about that, but it is indeed magical.
Right. So, back to my initial question. About dispelling the magical.
I walk up and cast Dispel Magic.
Okay. Perfect. At what level?
3rd.
What level?
3rd.
Okay.
The one that it casts that.
All right.
Please, sir.
I never, unless I have a very good idea of what it is. Will as
Making
a
a-
player and May as me as most my player characters and effectively will always try and
Okay.
succeed.
You dispel
And I
magic.
get a green line around that.
As you, it didn't even light up green. As you walk forward, hold forth your gnomish palm, and from which a blast of light and energy just washes away. The perfect match of the stone coloration, the luster, the veins of ore, the perfect color match of the dust to this rubble in comparison to the surrounding walls is washed away like paint. It begins just dripping off, and you can see beneath like sheets, like sheet metal, sheets of steel riveted together and hammered and formed into this elaborate nook and cranny shape that had apparently just been illusorily made to look identical to the stone wall. As you can see, it is just some sort of manufactured wall.
So it's made of metal, you said?
It does appear to be made of like sheet metal riveted together in places, burnished and hammered and bent to make it match the shape of all the nooks and crannies of the stone.
Okay, Dorn pulls out his lightsaber and thrusts it into the metal, a la Star Wars Episode 1.
I can see Sid's face now. I even have to.
I can't see Sid's face. Or
He
Jerry's
can't
face.
either.
Or
I can't
your
either.
face.
I can tell you that he is doesn't want to let you do it, but also
Is not
isn't going to
happy.
tell you no.
Quickly, where are the droideka?
No, that's fine. I was getting another beer. I just when I go downstairs, I get robotic and staticky. Yeah, as you begin carving a hole in this, you begin to see the metal drip and melt away. It's quite flimsy, actually. A very light gauge sheet metal, and behind it you can see as it rips apart, you can see kind of wiring behind it and some wooden scaffolding. It was never intended to be a strong physical barrier. It was always intended to be mostly illusory, protected by virtue of the fact that it was unseen. As you begin to slice away chunks of it, molten tin steel dripping from the ceiling of the upper part of the cavity that you carve. You arc over. You can see beyond this shaft, including the pressure treated wood and the railings for the mine carts, continues unabated, undamaged.
Are there any migrants?
Before you, there is a teeter-totter pushcart.
Oh, that's fun.
One.
It appears to be just one. It is 4 feet by 4 foot wide across the rails and 6 feet long. It appears to be oiled and in good condition.
So just enough for all of us, is what you're saying.
You could all squeeze on board with some effort. It would be difficult to necessarily operate the teeter-tot with you all kind
Even
of
if I was just
squozen.
flying and holding on kind of to the back of it.
Perhaps that would be, depending on how fast it's going, you might as well just be flying. What is this HTML font color products 20 dot?
I am
The
real
20
quick,
wasn't
I don't know
green,
how quick
so I-
it goes.
Oh, so you wrote
I
it.
made
Okay.
I did
Thanks,
it for
John.
Will.
It's a new spell.
It's a new spell. Yep. I'm sorry,
Will
Mason.
is not
What?
amused, but I did do it for Will.
Yeah, I don't understand the joke.
You said the 20 wasn't green, so I made the 20 green.
Oh, it is green. Sorry, it
He
also
did.
is
He
not.
did
I-
use
I had to- I
HTML
had to
Markdown.
go by
I didn't
the
realize
lead into the
chat
monitor to
supported
see it.
HTML Markdown, but here
I
we
don't
are.
either.
It was worth it. It was worth a try. Mason, what were you saying?
I mean, yeah, we'll see how fast it goes. If it's not faster than 50 foot per 6 seconds, then I'll definitely just fly along the cart. But if it's a question about being able to fit all of us, then at least one of us who could
I'll say
be
this.
outside of the cart.
You could all sit or stand on the cart. It's a question of having the room to lift and push the mechanism that drives the cart with you all standing on it, like having that space.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'll just be like along the back of it, and I'll be flying, but I'll be holding on to it so if it can support my weight while I'm in the cart, it should be able to support my weight outside. Just
Sure. Have you been keeping track of
give
your
it a
minutes
little bit more.
on your flying boots?
I don't believe I've used it today, other
You
than
flew across the
to
chasm.
fly over the lake.
And every time you use it, it halts the recharge. I don't think you've used it with the 12 hours before that, but I also am not sure about that either. Because this day, no, you've not used it in 12 hours before that.
I used it for like 2 rounds for like 12 seconds to fly over the lake.
You also used it to
inside.
swim not as difficultly at some point earlier in the day. So it has.
No, because it said that wasn't a thing. Because I tried to get him. He said that Vale doing that casting fly would have counted, and I was like, well, if flying counts, then I use my boots. And he said, no, that's not how that works. So I did not use it for that.
Got it.
Yeah, so it only regains 2 hours of flying capability for every 12 hours that they aren't in use. That doesn't scale. So you have to like leave them be for a full 12 hours before they gain anything back. And when they do, they gain back 2 hours of capacity.
I've never used more than 2
Yeah,
hours.
okay. I'm just keeping track.
I do not fly for very long. I fly in short stints usually.
Yes. It is a 4-hour period. Okay. Good to know. So there is a minecart before you. There is a mine shaft. What will you do?
Are we resting here or not?
AJ
Oh.
said he was on his way.
Another question.
I
Were we
don't know.
thinking about resting here?
You specifically, you were the reason I'm asking that, Mason.
I mean,
I meant
would
short
not.
rest.
I would not.
I meant short rest. Sorry. You were not
thought
going
we
to
got
short
it.
rest doing what you're talking about. We've not short rested yet.
well, Mason asked,
It said you were short resting.
and then
It said
Yeah.
it was a
Okay.
short.
When we sort of do stuff during our short rest that you sort of involve yourself in, this is the immediate thing that we're doing. We are in that time, in that hour that you are short resting.
Yeah. Would you like to short rest, or would you like to proceed?
That is the question that I'm posing to the party.
I mean, I would like to, but that's
I didn't wait an hour to talk about this. We talked about it immediately.
Right.
That was why I
Okay.
was saying something earlier when
I knew you
think
said
you're
you were short resting, but then yeah, as soon as Vale started to talk about this and Dorn got involved, and like
Right.
this was all happening.
I thought.
Yeah.
I thought that was happening after the short rest, which we had
No.
agreed upon.
Yeah. No. It's not a big deal. I just need to know. That's what you guys are doing right now.
I didn't
Gotcha.
wait. I'm telling you that I did not wait an hour to mention it. I mentioned that immediately and asked for help with
Sure.
that. That's why I specifically said earlier, like, hey, I think you're short resting right now, as the person who needs it most.
so. Then we're short resting now. Then
Yes.
If you are,
Question.
then sure. Yeah. Okay.
okay. I said the statement, and then I realized I meant that as a question.
No, it's okay. Be decisive,
I'm
Jer.
almost at Kim's house, so I will be dropping off for a couple minutes and then joining back.
Okay.
Yeah, and Sid, if you didn't hear me, AJ said he's coming. There was an unplanned nap. Like,
Ah. Yes. The worst kind of nap / best.
just depends on when it happens.
Yeah. All right. So tell me what you guys are doing. Taking a short rest. Everyone take a short rest. Roll your nonsense, do your stuff.
I'll channel divinity. Channel ability. I'll channel divinity twice.
Channel
with-
banana abilities.
Yeah. To harness divine power or whatever it is, power. To get back.
Motion to require Sid to say roll your nonsense anytime we have to roll checks.
Roll your nonsense. Channel banana abilities.
Petition signed by Mason Stewart.
That's enough petitions. I have so much AI generated art of the Underdark on accident. Yeah. Did everyone roll and recover?
Yep.
Awesome. Good.
But I don't feel like I saw anyone else actually roll hit dice. But I
I
also
didn't,
think
'cause
that I might
didn't
have
take
been
any
the only
damage.
one who actually took any significant damage. I was the only one who took any significant damage. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was down
Alright.
30. I assumed that other people might have been too, but you weren't.
Okay. At the end of this hour-long break, everyone having recovered, it's been eerily quiet. Again, just the sounds of water dripping from stalactites into the otherwise placid lake. And as you all kind of stretch, recovering your strength, you stare down this mine shaft and what lies before you. How do you proceed?
With trepidation.
I'd like to sit towards the front of the cart and follow the red string.
Okay.
I imagine I will be helping to pump.
Okay.
Oh, I will sit on the cart.
Yeah. What's the general layout of the crew?
Bell will be sitting on the left side of the cart.
Okay. Like near the front.
Yeah.
Dorn taking up position, hands on the bars, such that he is facing in the direction down the shaft, away from where you came from. Tour climbing up. Oh, so you're gonna make me go backwards, are you? And grabs hold of it. On the other side.
Like eye level.
Yeah,
at the highest
basically.
point.
Yep. Everyone else climbs on. All right. So are we going or?
Oh yes. Well, let's begin.
All right. As you push down. The cart begins to make its way down the rails. It's actually fairly well oiled, well maintained. You can see the cart itself seems to be in good condition. No scrapes, no dents. As Ken uses his winged boots to kind of just hold tight, basically grabbing hold of Dorn's armor as an anchor point to make sure he doesn't get too far away. And indeed, Vale, the red thread spirals, twists, and turns down the long, dark corridor ahead. Dorn, it's going to be very difficult to hold forth your lightsaber and also pump the cart.
Ah, you're right. I would have sheathed.
Disengaged.
Yeah, and sheathed it.
And put away. Flame
Are
time.
there any torches or anything like in
One
this like to,
want-
is there anything to like put like a post or anything on the cart either
No.
like for a lantern?
Bell
Oh, that
will.
would make sense because
Because they're
Double.
gnomes.
yeah, and and likely now that I've Will's put together, probably need deep gnomes at that. Sorry.
What is Bell doing?
She will pull out an arrow and cast light on the tip
All right.
and hold it as a torch.
Lumos.
No, now you say that. She'll pull out the wand, one of her wands, and cast light on the tip of that.
Okay. Yep. Certainly.
Look, I'm a wizard. Look at me.
You're a hairy wizard. Wait.
I'm not a Harry. I'm just a wizard.
Now I'm sad.
I know. Me too, actually.
You know,
How have you
it
done
would
that to
actually make
yourself?
more sense for Bell would shift into Mathesis. Hey, hey, look, I'm a wizard. Yeah, look at that. Hey, Look at
It's sad
It's
because
cool.
Robbie Coltrane died.
it is.
Oh,
It is
well.
very sad.
Yeah,
Why would you do that? We were having a good
I
time.
did it to him earlier. That's why.
we were having to get them, and Sid just had to go and pick it all up.
Here's to Hagrid. Let's just all take a drink. I don't know who's
There's the Hagrid.
I don't know who's
Hey guys, I made my cup blue. See that? It's really fancy.
What?
whose
I made my
Skype
cup
thing
blue.
is just showing up on. Oh, now it's Javis, but it had been somebody invisible. Oh, it must have been Will for a long
I
time.
literally just walked away.
Robbie Coltrane, I learned this week, was the inspiration behind the comedic duo of Hugh and Laurie.
Yeah, I know they
Right.
were close.
And Laurie, Hugh and Laurie, he was the same person.
Hugh
as Laurie.
Laurie and
Hugh Laurie
Stephen Fry.
and Stephen Fry. Yes, sorry. Fry and Laurie.
No. Hugh and Laurie.
Hugh,
Hugh and
Laurie,
Laurie.
Hugh and
Comedic
Laurie
duo.
and Stephen and Fry, all four of them.
The comedic no, not quadruple. No.
Okay, anyway, AJ,
Thank you.
how are you, my friend? Do you have any questions about the recap? Anyone want to fill AJ in real quick?
What have I missed? It looks like we are figuring out where to go.
It might seem that way, but it's. I'm just kidding. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody fill AJ in.
We fought some frogs. We found a secret passage.
I think they were fish.
They were fish.
Fought some breaks. You're right. We fought some fish. We found a secret passage that was we found some languages that was written in Gnomish that was actually thieves' cant that said, "Hey, this is a secret passage," even though they're like rubble. Vel dispelled the rubble after much to do. We took a short rest, and now we're on a minecart in a tunnel. A secret tunnel.
I love minecarts. I'd just like to go on the record and say that.
It is a secret tunnel, if someone would please.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
It's a very. I
In
was
the
surprised it didn't come up
mountain,
sooner.
under
I
the ocean.
specifically included this.
I specifically requested it.
It is a very secret tunnel, hidden by magic and everything. Yeah. So as you all begin, you climb aboard. Tour and Dorn are pumping the teeter-totter cart, driving you all down along this path as Bell and Vale keep careful watch and vigilance over the actual rail line ahead of you, looking out for any dilapidation in the rails or any sort of break that would result in a certain calamity. As you reach a quite significant speed, as this you do take some uphills, but a large portion of it is descending down within this tunnel, which winds back and forth. There's no light in the tunnel at all, so every second is just a whole new. The walls begin to blur as the only illumination comes from the tip of Belle's wand as she holds forth her light cantrip. And you're just kind of illuminating this one space. As the gray walls slide past you, it almost begins to feel like you're standing still, and there's just blurry barriers on either side of you. Like, you know when you're riding in a subway and you go underground, it's just like, it doesn't even feel like you're moving. It almost feels like you're jostling a little bit, but you don't feel how quickly you're moving because your brain can't comprehend the kind of monotonous gray stone which is traveling past you at such great speeds.
Not to detract from your great descriptions, but I also have thought of this already. Have we found the brakes before we get too far?
So the way that teeter-totter carts work is that the movement of the cart is directly tied to the rolling of the wheels. So if you want to slow down, you simply pull and push counter to the, like if you're going downhill faster than you're pushing and pulling and you just let go, the teeter-totter would still because it's tied directly to the wheels. So if you
Yes,
wanted
I
to
just wanted
slow
to make
down
sure
or
that we
brake,
addressed.
you would try and hold the bars perfectly still, pushing against to and fro the turning of the wheels, and that would be a direct counteraction to the rolling. Could be dangerous. That's an easy way to like break some arms if if you're going too fast. But that would be the way to. You don't see any handbrake situation.
Cool. I just wanted to make sure before you got us going out of control and we didn't ask about it, I wanted to make sure that we were aware that, hey, not letting him just make us go out of control is a
But
thing we can do.
Dorn will look at Vale and say, "Oh, it's quite easy. Instead of pushing down, I'll just pull up instead."
Oh, yeah. Vale asks us very, like, wait, hold on. Like, he does look like, he is distracted mostly. And he's like, wait, hold on. You're not doing this. How are we going to stop? And then I accept that as an answer and get distracted again by this red string that no one can see. And I'm muttering to myself silently.
indeed.
Mutter.
But mostly, Dorn is saying this from a perspective not of like counteracting the motion, but like in order to stop going forward, you just do the reverse, which functionally ends up being the same.
Yeah, which could theoretically make you go faster if you got off syncopation. Yes.
Anyway.
Yes, because Dorn actually is not fully invested in the mechanics of the situation here. Go figure. Who would expect that of Dorn? So as you continue, you do reach a pretty significant speed. I would say you're going between 35 and 40 miles an hour. Fast enough that, like I said, the walls are kind of blurring past. Ken is really no longer. I'll say at this point, you can kind of squeeze and kind of just flitter forth and land and kind of hold on like almost like motorcycle style behind Dorn, holding onto his waist, kind of stand right behind him. You could theoretically dash and keep up, but it would be a lot more effort than you feel like it's worth at this sustained speed for a long time. Did Ken drop off to go inside, or is he still?
Oh, I'm here. No,
Okay, all right, cool.
Yes, but he's back.
Shortly,
yes, but I'm back.
as you all are descending through these paths, you enter a large, open, cavernous chamber. And every now and then you see these struts, these massive, arm-thick chain links hanging from the ceiling on either side of the mine rails, which are holding the rails up. As you look out over and down, it's cavernous, deep black emptiness, even out to Vale's, 600 feet of dark vision?
No, 300.
300 feet of dark vision? Yeah. You can begin to see at 300 feet, you can begin to see the tips of some stalagmites rising up from some sort of cave floor below, but it becomes inky and black before you can see the bottom of this cave. And this kind of railway is twisting and curving like a Mario Kart Rainbow. What is that map called?
Road.
Rainbow Road. Yes, thank you. Rainbow Road. It's just kind of like twisting and turning out in space. It's held up by these enormous chains, which are kind of like appended to the ceiling, which you can look up and see as they zoom past. They kind of climb up and have these massive bolts stuck into the stone ceiling above. It's a surprisingly smooth ride, but as you enter this chamber, the temperature drops about 10 degrees. It's the cold, stale air slaps against your face. And you can hear as the chains whistle past you on the sides. As you're just kind of soaring through open space, and you have no idea how far down you might fall if this were to give way. Mathes's light out ahead, barely revealing maybe 1 to 2 seconds in advance at its radius, at the speed you're going. Not a great distance ahead of you at all.
Maybe we should slow down just a bit. I mean, only if you guys are cool with it, but like honestly, maybe we don't do this like this. Please respond.
He calls
Yeah,
out,
all
kind
right
of
then.
raising
I
his
think it's
voice
too
over
late
the
for that.
sound of the roaring wind. You're only going like 40 miles an hour, but like
On a minecart.
right, like most
Not
roller
even a
coasters
cart.
don't go
We
that
don't have
fast,
walls.
right? Like
I'll attempt to start getting us slowed down.
Yeah, I'll work on that as well.
I need for both of you to make athletics checks.
I have what is called exhaustion, therefore disadvantage.
Nope.
Not that.
Yeah,
Minus
Yeah.
one.
It's just
Oh,
minus
there.
one
I see.
now.
Yeah, we did discuss those rules already in person with you, so it's not that big of a deal that you missed. We have decided to implement them.
23.
8.
8.
On this.
There's
on
an
this-
ambulance outside my house.
Oh no.
Are you
Not
late for
four
your
cop
shift?
cars.
No.
I was
They
going to
sent
say
someone to
bring
pick you
more
up.
home, but
I hope they're not sending an ambulance for the anesthesiologist.
You gotta go, bro. We gotta go.
No.
Oh goodness. On this group check, you have rolled 1 success and 1 fail, which favors a. Should I average them? It'd be better if I averaged them. No, this is more fun. Tour is for sure like not like immediately trying to stop the pump, because that would just cause him to just be lifted off of his feet and slammed into the ground, because you can't just like immediately pull this thing to brakes. But he has begun like counteractively. Whenever it goes up, he's pulling down against it and pulling up against it, kind of in reverse. Not fully trying to bring it to a complete 100% stop, but kind of like pushing and pulling against it to slow the cart down. Dorn has just trying to just like bear hug this thing top and bottom and hold it still in place, and he is just like
no, not like that.
he is kind of taking a very jarring beating on his knees and ankles as this thing is lifting him and slamming him back down onto the. You all hear the of
Perfect.
Dorn effectively being used as the hammerhead on this.
I imagined that he was just gonna get out of syncopation like he said he would eventually. Instead, he's like, "Yeah, I'm doing it." Like, no, you're still doing the same thing. Like, no, but
Dorn accidentally, in this instant, bites down on his tongue
Oh.
and calls out in pain and just kind of like lets go and slams down, and leaving Tour exclusively to pull and push against this. Make a perception check. Tour's the one facing the direction you've come from. He's not even looking ahead.
Wait, so I was in front of the cart?
No.
Oh,
Dorn
he's
is
not looking ahead. He's facing.
correct.
So what happens to me as my grip? As
You have to
Dorn
immediately
slams
take flight
against the-
and begin to kind of double dash to keep up and kind of hunker down on the edge of the cart in the back, grabbing hold of the edges.
remember your minuses.
Vale. Alucard. Dorn. Okay. Vale.
I assumed I had disadvantage because I bit the shit on my
This
tongue.
would be you like call out an obscene curse word, which is punctuated by a small spatter of blood. You've really kind of taken a little piece out of your tongue.
Wait.
Beautiful. You're
Shit.
facing the wrong way, so that makes
No,
sense.
the boy is not facing the wrong way.
Oh,
And-
right.
Doesn't have minuses.
uh,
Yeah,
Vale,
boy
this makes sense as you're the one
good.
who's like at the front, looking ahead. You've got 300 feet dark vision. You can see a significant incline coming up in 3, 2,
Brace.
1.
Okay.
As Tour is
Can I-
trying to like work back and forth and
Okay.
back and forth to kind of slow the cart down,
Yeah,
even as he's going it.
I move. I say that, and I like move to the middle of the cart, and I hug like the pole in the middle, and do my best to keep my head from. That's what I'm saying as I scurry to that. That's
So
all I can. I think that's
brace is what you say
Mhm.
before
Yep.
the dip.
what. Yeah, that's what. That's what you get.
I will cast a spell.
Okay.
I'm going to
Counter
cast.
spell. I'm just kidding.
I'm going to cast.
Asshole.
I'm gonna twin spell fly. I can't do that because I didn't do the thing I was supposed to do during the short rest that I was supposed to do.
What were you supposed to do during your short rest? That you...
Convert spell slots to sorcery points.
Yep.
That's much more important when you're.
Could we say I would have done that?
I think Alucard's
I
a
don't know
smart
what will
man.
you give me. I'm just kidding. Yes. Yes, we could say.
Okay. Okay, so I will twin spell. Oh. Oh. That's expensive. Okay, I'll use it anyway. I will twin spell the fly spell. I will cast it on Tour and Dorn.
Okay. You're casting it 3rd level and twinning it.
Yeah, I can't cast any higher.
Okay.
Fuck spell slot.
All right.
I also have to roll a D20 because it's a sorcerer's spell
First level
slot.
spell.
Oh, please don't become a plant right now.
It's a sorcerer's spell, but as long as it's not a 1, we're fine. That's 12. We're good.
I saw that too. Kind of like, oh gosh. All right. As the cart comes to the end of a
Yeah.
long, kind of flat plateau. And I need for everyone to make either athletics or acrobatics checks. Sorry. Let's do it this way. Either dexterity or strength saving throws.
Okay. I will also use the bonus action to give myself the ability to
Remember
fly.
your minuses.
Does that counts for saving throws also? I
You
guess.
said
Yes.
acrobatics.
It does.
No. He did not say that. He said dexterity or strength saving throw.
Dex. I only have a -1 right now, which is
Wow. These are
That's a
great
12.
rolls, gentlemen.
Not doing amazing. Not awesome.
Hey, somebody did well.
Yeah, even with the -1.
Mine's actually an 18.
Which makes
Okay.
sense because I was flying outside of the car.
I like the coin starts to fall in my pocket and I grab it. Is how I imagine this flip happens. Like, I don't actually flip it, but it flips for me.
As it reaches the bottom of this steep decline, you look like you're about to just collide with a massive stalactite hanging from the ceiling. As you roll downward, looking up, you can see carved into the stalactite. It looks like a reverse Gothic church. Although it appears abandoned, you can see dark glass windows. When I say reverse, I mean
Upside
the
down.
narrow end of the bottom. It's all like right side up, but
Yep.
there seems to be like architecture built into this massive stalactite. Gothic windows carved at various positions, shattered and dusty. You don't see any occupants per se, but you can see a couple of parapets, balconies, carved out of the stalactite. And as you get to the bottom, there is a sudden and sharp upturn, at which point the rails end. The cart goes soaring along this trajectory. As it does so, Alucard, Mathesis fall from the
I
cart.
gave myself the ability to fly as a bonus action.
What's your speed?
30.
Okay. With a dash action, I will give you the chance with a dexterity saving throw to
Okay.
grab hold of the cart.
Okay.
Using your action to dash, and all of your fly speed to fly as quickly as you can.
To grab
This
the
cart
cart.
is rocketing
So
through
dexterity
open
saving
air.
throw.
Yep. You're trying to kind of just reach out and grab hold of anything. The edge, one of your allies' sleeves, fucking anything.
Okay.
As you see Mathesis tumble off of the...
Natural
Okay,
20.
superb. You reach out, and Iken looks back. His little boots just flip-flapping as fast as they can as he himself is holding onto the cart, but also boosting his own speed with his boots. He looks back at you, holds out a hand, and the two of you kind of... You grab hold of him. He pulls you up, and you grab hold of the side of the cart. As both of you see Mathesis and your only source of light, his wand tip held aloft. Fall
Oh,
from
the
cart.
music. Oh my god. The music cutting out right there. How far is Mathesis from me?
By this point, given your speed, in a split second, he's about 30 feet away.
I-
The cart
can
is
I,
just...
Can I react and look as I have just taken the forearm and go, you can fly, and cast Misty Step to Mathesis?
Are you holding on to me or do you let go?
I thought you
Dude.
just said that you cast fly.
I cast fly on those two. I can fly, yes, but I don't know if I didn't grab onto the cart. You're holding onto me. You're the thing holding me.
I am flying. Oh god, I thought that you cast fly on yourself. I thought you were flying.
I can, but I'm not as fast as the cart
It's
is.
not a
so I'm holding
60-foot
on
fly
to it.
speed. So the fly spell gives an individual 60-foot fly speed. With action dash, it's 120-foot fly speed. That would be enough to keep up with the cart.
I don't have that kind of speed the way I'm flying.
He has a class feature that gives him a fly speed equal to his walking speed, which is 30. Dash is a 60-foot fly speed. He is not fast enough to fly. And keep up with the cart.
You are faster. I mean, I only have a 50-foot movement speed. I don't. My fly speed is my movement speed.
I mean,
Yeah.
let the
But I
record
can-
show
This is in
that.
a
I can
split
get
second.
to
This is not
Mathesis
within
right
6
now.
seconds either.
But I will say, Sid, let the record show I was actually thinking of doing the exact same thing he is doing because I also have Misty Step.
Mhm.
Could we have just parallel thought, both Misty stepped to Mathis and grabbed a hand?
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
As you kind of like try and reach out and grab him, you both make eye contact, watching Mathesis fall, look back at one another, and both of you vanish and miss. and you appear on either
That
side.
is Order of the Phoenix as hell, dude. I love that, man.
You appear on
Forget my
either side of
well.
him, kind of underneath his arms as he's falling, and
Hey,
like, he like holds his wand aloft
Got
as
it.
um
Sorry,
I'm going to
cold.
look at Alucard and I am going to try to be sneaky about this, even though Mathis is present. Just kind of like brush his cheek a little bit and give him a wink.
Okay. As you have Misty stepped away, you wheel about, now grabbing hold of Mathis. He's like, oh, hey guys, and you've been flying back up, carrying him forth. You do not know where the cart is. You basically used all of your ability to sort of orient yourself
Uh-huh.
to just teleport to the only source of light in the room. You have dark vision, but it's dim light everywhere. And this cart is now not making hardly any noise at all because it's not rattling over rails. It is free flying as it has launched itself off of a ramp of some kind. Switching back to Dorn, Bell.
Now that we're in
Sorry,
darkness,
Tor,
I
Dorn,
will
and
give myself flying as well.
okay.
But also, I don't know when to let go of this because I don't know when we're gonna hit something because I can't see anymore either.
As you are soaring through the air, it's kind of quiet, unless any of you is just screaming. You're at the top of your lungs.
That would be Dorn.
I'm trying to
Okay.
focus on. I'm gonna try to focus on at least for now, before we meet our inevitable death. Find the path.
Okay, yeah. As you like are peering out into the darkness, your dark vision giving you a grayscale of this entire chamber. Even you can't really see your ultimate destination. You don't know what the trajectory is that you're on. Kind of like casting your eyes about. You're on a projectile soaring through a cavern, but you can see a red thread ahead of you. It seems to be moving forth as you hear behind you the full-throated bellow of Dorn. Now Tour and Dorn both just holding tight to the teeter mechanism, which is perfectly still. Now they've brought it to a complete halt as the cart just as Dorn's voice echoes off of the ceiling of this chamber and surrounding. I will let Mathesis, Alucard, and Iken make perception checks to follow by
Oh wow.
way of sound where the cart is soaring through the air. What is your
Can I
dark
also-
vision situation? Sorry.
You said perception.
For them mostly.
Yeah,
Perception.
I think Alucard has
I have dark vision.
standard dark vision.
Not Mason, but
I have dark vision.
yeah, for now.
I would have had the
Goggles of Night.
no. I would have had the monocle on. I'd never specifically said that I changed
Mhm.
from the fight.
Yeah, especially with
We're
your
just
light.
doing a regular perception.
Yeah. So that would be a 6 with my minus
Oh
1.
wow. I rolled a 3.
Oh, it would have been a 30 except the -1. Dang.
Iken, you immediately are able to lock on despite the distorted echoes of Dorn's panicked, but also slightly thrilled, like having a good time, screams. But you were able to pinpoint kind of, and you look out with your superior dark vision granted by the Oni. You still have the Oni up?
Yep.
Yeah. So you look out, you can see the cart rocketing through the air.
I feel like with that roll, it can
I have-
also notice is that this is a board game.
Sydney,
And,
I need you to check me on that too. I have about an hour left after the long rest, so
Okay.
a
Then
short
you're
rest.
about you have about 20 minutes left now. You guys have been on the cart for some time.
Which means that I need to take like 40 minutes off my flying for the boots.
You can take 20 off because you kind of figured out at some point this was not going to be a short journey, and you kind of
Got you.
uh,
Okay. Yep.
manage to
I'm
squeeze
gonna-
onto the cart.
Especially for like any extended period in the air sounds terrifying. I will be throwing produce flame balls, like little fireballs, which are not going to produce a whole lot of light, but
Okay.
just trying to in front of us to see.
Yeah,
like,
you're just doing
when
like the
we might jump
Mario
off.
from Super Smash Bros. Things, like
Yeah.
I am going to look back and go, Alucard, do you have Mathesis?
I mean, Mathesis can honestly have Mathesis. I just need a moment, and I'll pull out the loot.
This is not the time for music.
Okay,
I
have
can
yourself.
fly!
Great, I love it.
believe I can fly!
Ekin
And
is
I'll-
going to immediately run, start flying towards the cart.
All right. Flying towards it, you realize quickly that you're misjudging how quickly it's going in its trajectory, and you have to like kind of you intend to kind of start out where
if
it's
it makes
going
any
to be.
difference with my key points, I can move 150 feet.
Yes. Okay. Yep. So you quickly begin moving to where you think it's going to be, but then realize it's moving faster than you thought. And so it becomes your trajectory towards it becomes more parabolic than straight line interception. But like
Okay.
you do eventually manage to grab on, kind of trailing it and then overtaking it, coming right up behind Dorn, who is screaming. You still can't tell if he's having a great time or the worst time.
Fire.
Perfect. I am going to reach out and grab each of their hands.
There are 3 people on the cart.
Each of the people who are holding on to the
Tour and Dorn. Got it.
trolley,
Crazy thing is, literally all 3 of them can fly right now.
and
That's true.
I'll say
Each of us.
to you, think of a wonderful thing,
Any happy little thing?
any happy little thing. You can fly, and I'll take off, and I'll just take their arms and take them with me.
All right.
And I'll say to Vale, fly.
We're on the path.
Yes, we can fly on the path.
So Dorn has trouble thinking of a happy thing in the moment,
Oh my God.
and so
Oh my God.
so
I said wonderful. I did not say. I did say any happy little thing. That's true.
you did, and so will resist being pulled off of the hurtling cart by Iken.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God. If he resists, I will go. Smokey's waiting for you, buddy. Come on.
Oh no. Smokey's waiting for you, buddy.
You said that as Cole jumped on the bed next to me.
How long you been holding on to that one there, bud? Wait for any old time. to pull
Just-
down now?
Just
happy little thought?
just psychological warfare.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
Here's
Um,
the- I found it.
But I thought we were supposed to stay. I thought we were supposed to like ride the. It'll probably land somewhere nice.
If we
let's
so
talk about
we
land.
can talk about this in the air. We can talk about this in the air
Yeah.
as Iken is trying to pull Dornstag off.
Come on. Tour, what is your reaction to being
He's
summoned
not here
forth?
anymore.
You realize you have a fly
He's not
speed
here.
because
It's 9:15. That didn't change the thing
right,
that he
right,
had to
right,
do.
right.
Ah.
Tour will then also jump, realizing he has a fly speed given to him by Alucard's spellcraft, and soar up to join Iken, still kind of keeping pace with the cart best he can.
All right, fine. I'll
Does the
submit.
line of does it seem like I'm on the right same trajectory still, or is it like up
It's a
above me?
very similar trajectory.
I'm still gonna be. I'll hold out for a bit longer, and if any time within, it's gonna be a very risky thing to bail out when
Within-
as my firebolts can.
Within seconds, the cart reaches some kind of pinnacle, where you just, and you have a sense of weightlessness. You're not sure it's because you cast a flying ability on yourself, or because the cart has just reached the pinnacle of its trajectory. And
the
it
zenith.
just begins
I
to just
thought we were already into that point. I thought we were past that.
and begins to fall.
Again.
Yeah, I
Yes.
assumed we were already falling.
No, you were like rapidly
Yeah, yeah.
kind of like rocketing over these quick couple seconds. As you're holding out, speed begins to gain. It's even more disorienting because you came to an almost standstill at the zenith of the trajectory. Just
Would I not have been able to catch up to the cart at the zenith?
this is you're here now. You caught up to. You're already there. You caught up to it just before that. So
Oh, this was before I pulled people out of the cart.
no,
Or
after
okay.
you tried to pull people off the cart. Yes.
I
At
would.
this point,
I was
too,
going to say that
Alucard
after that,
and
I
Bell-
would have gone for the cart and tried to like stabilize it so that we could catch our breath and realize where we're at, because we can always push it up or down wherever to figure out where we are. But
It's
if
gonna
we
get
can-
destroyed whenever it lands, if it doesn't land in something safely. That's
if
true.
if those of us that can fly, which is all of us at this point, can scout first, then we can make sure the cart's going in a safe direction rather than
Can
not.
we see like that? Because I feel like.
Oh no, I
you-
can't see like we can't see like that.
It's such a vast space that even Vale's 300-foot dark vision cannot see the
And you
ultimate
can't
destination.
move quick enough to get like.
I'm
to
I'm
really-
saying if we can stop the cart. Like Iken is attempting to stop the cart so,
So
that those of
you
us
realize
that
that the
can
cart
move
is not
along.
on any kind of railing.
it's on terminal velocity of a big thing.
Maybe you weren't here when this part happened. It left the rails.
And then
It-
just landed and is now
No.
just
It's not has
moving.
not.
It has not
landed.
landed.
This is
It
all
has been
the air.
in free fall this entire time.
The zenith is in the air.
In the air.
That's
That's-
the air
Yes.
zenith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is
Make it
Vale
more
in the
efficient.
cart?
Yes, the
The
air
cart
zenith.
is in the air. Is flying.
There are no
Fall-
rails
I
in
was
sight.
Why were you
I
trying
was
to pull
not
me off
aware.
the cart
Wow.
then if you thought we were
Deacon,
still
I
on
don't
the
know where you
track?
were
Because I
that's not
thought it
what you
was
were act-
going to a point where it was going to fling off the rails.
It
I
already
was
did.
like,
It's already
Oh,
there.
yeah,
It's
it
already
did
there.
that.
It's already
Direction.
there.
You were actively not on. Yes, I'm glad I pulled you off. Think of happy things, Dorn. Listen, get out of the
Listen.
cart.
That cart has sailed.
No, you were actively in my arms.
In the
Like a baby goat.
arms of
Oh no,
the
please
baby.
stop, please stop.
Um,
Vale, as you're holding out, you're holding on to the front. You kind of like bunker down a little bit as it
Fireball.
begins to descend. You can see no more than a half a second ahead. Half second to a second ahead. A large, like, down ramp where this cart is intended to catch the, pick up the railing where it had left off. But because of all of the in-flight maneuvering and jostling and grabbing hold and trying to maintain it, the cart is no longer parallel to the rails and is slightly at an angle and is falling.
I mean, I won't be able to stop myself, so I'm just gonna instead use my slower movement. I will, I guess, glide through and continue to go through until I can slow down to a point. I will try to let
Yeah.
go and
As you
glide-
kind of
like,
just almost
still
push
rocket
yourself
through
off,
whatever the tunnel is, for
and
quite a while.
your
probably.
step of the night, you can see the cart. As it slams into, it was supposed to catch this railing at the other end and just take that momentum and carry it down the hallway. You can see this tunnel built into the side of the chamber where it would carry on down this same path with this incredible speed. But it just didn't catch those rails at the right angle, and as it kind of collided with them, tearing up the wooden planks, ripping apart the metal wheels of the cart, tumbling over itself, and slamming into the kind of stone archway portcullis where it was supposed to neatly slide back into this shaft-like tunnel. There is now a very real rubble blockage further down this passage, where it has tumbled over itself, slammed sideways into it, and broken rocks aside, and you can hear the rumbling, deep shifting of stone.
And I imagine, especially with specifically how I said I was stopping, I'm on the other side of this blockage from them.
I imagine that you were able to jump off and just barely pull up before careening into the platform on which these rails. So these rails aren't hung by chains, I should say. These rails start at the bottom of the entire cavernous chamber, not the floor. So you're able to pull up just in time before you yourself slam into the floor, and you're outside of the blockage, kind of hovering near the ground, while everyone else is several hundred feet above you, listening to the cavernous echoing sounds of the cart as it wrecks itself against the floor of the chamber.
I cast Produce Flame as quickly as possible to make it clear that I'm not dead.
Pull out a flame. You're looking around. You can barely make out the shapes of your allies in the murky darkness, many hundreds of feet above. Everyone else can look down towards the sound of calamity and see a single torchlight held aloft in the hand of Vale. As all
A red
of you,
flame, I'm assuming.
yes, it's fire. It's fire colored.
This is not actually produced via clerical magic.
Oh,
This is
it's
learned
natural magic.
via our guide, whose name I can't remember.
Kawasha.
Kawasha?
Yes.
You can see a torchlight held aloft by Vale. As all of you, with your various means of magic, begin to, I presume, soar down.
As I like fly down with Mathis, because Mathis is now flying, saying between you and Bell, you guys really don't do the whole like airborne thing very well.
Well, you know, sometimes just catches you off guard, man. Like, life comes at you fast.
I'm fully aware of that. I'm just saying, like, you really should get better at the whole like careening thing, because I'm pretty sure that in the moon chase, I had to save Bell from careening into a building as the world was being torn apart.
Well, first
So-
of all, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate taking care of my sister. Second of all, you're probably right, but as I just spend a lot of time on the ground, and so like it's just not something that I'm super used to. But I'll definitely take your advice to heart. I really appreciate you
Naturally,
kept
yeah.
looking out for us.
No worries. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. This would be the part where you ask the question, right?
Yes.
Or do you need a moment? That's fine. That's completely
No,
okay.
I'm gonna ask this question, and I'm just gonna ask it before we get back to with everyone else. So,
Oh, I'm uncomfortable.
what is Bell's persuasion exactly?
We don't talk about Bruno. No.
She's very
Don't ask, don't
persuasive,
tell?
I would say.
No,
Like
I mean,
she's
what
one of
is
the best negotiators I know.
What is she into, Mathis? This is the question. Or who is she into?
Now, to answer what is she into, it's mostly daggers. She's like really got a thing about
Mathis,
daggers.
you're not this obtuse.
I'm rather cute, I've been told at least.
Oh.
I'm
this
rolling
isn't
some
too-
dice for that. I'm rolling some dice for that. You don't have to worry about why.
What are you trying to ask? I'm really not following. You seem like you're trying to get at something, and I'm
Who
just
is-
not helping you.
Who is your sister sexually attracted to, Mathis is?
Why would I know that?
Do you not talk to your sister?
Not recently, no.
When's the last time you spoke to her?
Oh,
Oh God.
oh God.
That's a good question.
Like, hey,
And then
I
we land.
wonder what this rubble path is going to lead to. It looks like I'm gonna go. Hey, Alucard, would you help me look at the path, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Vale will
go. I'm gonna go
have
look
it
at.
lit with Produce Flame, and like every time it's about to go out, he does hurl it at the wall. Literally.
I'm gonna go look to see what state the rebel is in with Alucard. See if we can assess the damage and how difficult it's going to be to get everything back in order. I
Yeah.
would also like to look at the wheels of the cart. I know you said that they got torn up.
Yeah.
Ken wants to know if they're irreparable.
The cart is in absolute ruin. The platform itself is torn into at least 4 pieces. The wheels are scattered, mangled, and in various locations. The somewhat simple mechanical mechanism for the pushing, kind of the bars that push the wheels, are lost. You don't see them at all. The entry to the tunnel itself isn't fully um, obstructed. There are places where you can see through the rocks where they've fallen and kind of are stacked against one another very precariously. You feel as though any kind of shifting of rock might cause it to collapse even further, but you can see past that deeper into this tunnel where within the rails that continue forth appear to be relatively undamaged, in good condition. But the rails that, kind of the catch rails at the end of the jump that the cart would normally slide back down onto, are completely like bent out of place. The wooden slats that hold them parallel are torn asunder, splintered everywhere, as this cart basically hit it out of 45 and just.
So it was pretty interesting up there when we both decided to teleport to Mathis at the same time.
Yes.
We can
How
actually
did that
reuse the same map and just pretend you're all right here.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Alucard?
How did that happen? Did we actually just have the same thought at the exact same time? Because that seems less than probable.
I think it seems rather probable.
Okay.
And why shouldn't it? We are part of the same team, aren't we?
I suppose.
Listen, Alucard, you had a thought of saving a friend. I had a thought of saving a friend. It happened in simultaneity, and it
One
proves
drunken
you
night,
are.
we don't have to talk about it.
It proves you are more in tune with your wants and desires to be a hero than maybe you think you are.
That is a lie. There's no wants or desires.
Of course
That's
it
just
is.
a lie.
I'm
I
sorry.
do
I am
not
sorry.
agree.
Sorry to.
Dawn,
compliment.
your help
That
is
my
required
fault.
over here.
Sorry,
and
what?
Iken is like looking past. I don't want to move anything because you said any movement of rock is likely
Could cause
to
it
cause.
further. Could.
Right.
You don't know. You don't have the.
Sure. I would like to further
So actually,
investigate any key given I know that I don't know rock as well as I do the human body, but
so if I
knowing
may
kind of
interrupt
like
you,
weak point. Yep, sure.
I'm gonna take an opportunity for Tour to do that thing you're describing with a skill that is
Great.
very seldomly taken advantage of in the game of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, which is Stone Cunning, where he gets to add his proficiency bonus twice because he's a dwarf. I'm not gonna roll a physical die. I'll roll on his character sheet.
He got a -1.
What? He does
He's
have a -1.
exhausted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not as his bonus, but like just also.
So he gets plus. We'll get +8 to this. Okay, well, that's an 8 + 8 for a total of 16. Not bad. And she looks it over. Yeah, there's these pieces here are all load bearing to one another, stacked like fucking Jenga. I wouldn't touch them. Unless we want to spend all night here carting these massive boulders out of the way. And even then, it'll all be foot traffic from here on. I don't know if I can fix that cart. In fact, I know I can't.
What do you suggest, then? This is the path. This is the only path that we have. We are now stuck here. I have this fucking voice in my head. Follow this.
Well, I mean, as long as I can see my destination, I can get through here without... Can all of us magically appear on the other side of this wall? Without touching
You
the
mean
rock?
teleport?
I can't.
I could take myself and Vale. Granted, it would leave us without a way out of here. In case things go real bad and the next time we sleep.
I can technically teleport to the other side of this wall without messing with the rock. But I can only take myself.
Well, there's a. That doesn't help anyone else.
Or we could spend, I don't know, maybe 8 hours carefully pulling this apart. Well, we'll have to intentionally collapse it in order to even start. Like I said, this is all carefully balanced against itself. We'll have to intentionally collapse the whole thing if we want to even begin clearing a path for us to walk through, and then start pulling all these boulders aside.
That seems pretty slow going.
It does.
I mean, it's that or go back the way we came. He looks back behind him into pitch blackness. And basically the cave, the stalagmites and stalactites come together just within your vision, if you have dark vision at all, or within Bell's mage light held up, Mathis' mage light held up, to create this jaw-like effect in the cave. You just can't see further past that out into the inky blackness. You cannot see the rails, the cart rails that you came from. The cart traveled such great distance. You all have fly speeds right now. You could try and fly back there, and then walk on foot all the way back.
I can't fly fast enough to get there without before falling again, and then having to make up that same ground that I just made. The only way out is through.
I agree.
No matter how long it takes, we have to go this. If we're relying on what we came here, if we're doing what we came here to do, this is the way. This is the only way that I can tell you, and no one else is going to help us do this.
At the risk of agreeing with the cliche, I think he might be right.
All right.
I could also just blow up the rubble, but I think that'd be a bad idea.
I mean, there's space here for a person to crawl through. But any misstep, any shifted rock, they could be crushed under tons of stone.
I don't think anybody wants that, because crushing would be bad.
Yes,
I agree.
swooping
I agree.
is
Crushing
bad.
would be bad.
So I guess we're moving the rocks out of the way?
All right.
Oh, don't take it as if I'm just commanding you. I'm not making this decision. I'm just asking. Is this what we're doing?
Would water help?
I mean, I'm thirsty. Sure.
Not. And I toss you my water skin. I hand you my water skin.
All right, I don't want to sound like a crazy person,
Would water help?
but I do have a skull of earth tremor. We
That
could
sounds
just
like a crazy person.
I'm just
no,
imagining
hear me out, hear me
Mathis
out.
is holding up the alchemy jug. Would mayonnaise help?
You
Is there any situation in which mayonnaise would be a help here?
you would like to cause an earthquake
Well, I mean, like
while we are
earthquakes.
underground.
Hear me out. Just hear me out. So, what's in our way? A bunch of rocks. What does an
What's above
earthquake
us?
do? It moves the rocks. Jeez.
What
And
is
what is above us? What is around us? What is going to kill
Well,
us if
it's
we?
not that big of an earthquake. It's a localized earthquake.
Mathesis, can
tactical
we have
earthquake.
Bell? Is Bell available?
I ask again, Tor. Would water help?
I mean, rocks don't float? What do you mean?
well,
Would-
very
there
small
is-
rocks.
No,
Thank
there
you.
are some of these debris and things. It would give hand. Could it give handholds? Could it do anything like this? I can produce 90 gallons, if needed, of water over time. If it would help move, if we are to go through, or would it unsettle things more?
I think he's referring to lubrication.
No,
I,
I'm not.
I don't
specifically
know.
not
I
that.
don't know. I
Okay,
feel like
then
you'd
don't
be introducing an additional factor of the potential
I
of being
am.
crushed and drowned.
Water?
It's not. That's not that much.
You mean like a waterfall?
I can
Like a
produce 90 gallons over the course of over a minute, about a minute. I can produce 30 gallons each time.
like as a fountain?
If I were to stand in the right place, it'd be on the ground around me if I don't have containers. There'd also be food there that you would maybe want to get.
So confused.
I can cast the spell, create food and water. I'm doing.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know how that would help.
Okay.
Unless you know a way that I don't. I
I
have a natural sense for earth and stone, but didn't grow up down here. I grew up on the sea. If you have a better notion for digging,
don't.
mining, and being underground than
Literally-
me, by all means.
I literally don't. That's why I'm asking. I
So
just know that when dirt gets wet, it turns into mud, and a lot of it turns it into sludge and will slip out. And not lubricate the thing, but give us maybe more space to work with if we are to dig through this. I don't know.
Perhaps.
I don't know if it's a good.
Like I said, there's enough space between the crevasses here for a man to crawl through. My fear is that any misstep, any jostle of the stones could cause it all to collapse on that man.
So why don't we just start moving the rocks?
Yeah, if we intentionally collapse it now, it'll probably fully fill. The option to Misty Step will no longer be available because I would, at least for me, I have to see my destination. So we have to make a decision.
We can't all get through.
So you're saying that if we move the rocks, we'll collapse it and then we can't see it all?
Probably. Because the way they're carefully balanced against one another right now, if we were to intentionally collapse it so that we could clear it, we would probably create a 100% blockage until we moved it all aside.
Three of us can get through. 4 of us maybe. That's it.
Okay.
There are 6 of us.
And we're not alright with leaving anyone behind. I'm just kidding. That's not something Tor would say. Alright. Let's see then. You'll all stand back. He will kind of step back about 30 feet. towards the edge of the. It's not like a. It's a small plateau. It's not very high off of the cave floor, which, as you look over the edge, like I said, you're on about a 30-foot wide platform of stone that's raised. These broken rails, which kind of glide down and into the tunnel, which are in extreme disarray. The shattered splinters are all around. Off of this platform, you're looking into a relatively shallow, maybe 3 or 4 foot deep pool of water before just like all around you, just like a forest of stalagmites, various sizes and heights that kind of climb up, kind of spreading out from around you, such that like if you were to step off of this platform, you could wade through the water and kind of climb in between the stalagmites. You could make your way along the floor of the cave, but it'd be very slow going. So as he backs up towards the edge of the platform, the stalagmites rising up, like a forest of stone behind him. He prepares an Eldritch Blast.
Can I ask one quick question? Sorry, this is a above table question because maybe I'm not visualizing this the way it is.
Yeah.
So there's a tunnel.
Mhm.
And the rubble that we see is because the cart hit the rails. It also knocked rocks into the tunnel.
Yes.
The cart
But the tunnel
that did not only hit the rails; it hit the sides of the walls and all of.
Yeah.
Sure, but the tunnel isn't carved out.
Not even, but is collapsed.
The tunnel is
The
in
tunnel
the
itself
wall
is
of the
collapsed.
cavern.
Yes.
So ahead of you, if you will, you're on a 30-foot wide stone platform. A forest of stalagmites in a shallow pool of water extends behind you as far as the eye can see. Ahead of you, an incredibly tall, kind of natural rock face extends upward. It's the edge of this massive cavern. It extends upward in all directions as far as you can see. It's clearly the far end of this cavern, this open space. At the base of it, there was a tunnel carved into the wall that would extend through and continue this path. But the cart, because of how it hit, has collapsed big shale-like shears from the wall rock face itself, which have fallen into place, thus creating an obstacle to the tunnel. They are fallen in such a way that they are kind of pinned on top of each other, to where you can hear and see into the tunnel beyond, past them. And there's, maybe a 3.5-4 foot gap in a couple of places that one might be able to climb through. The rubble is probably about 3 feet deep before the tunnel appears to be clear for passage. And Tour is about to further collapse, just to safely make sure that everything in that pile is fully settled before you guys start pulling stuff apart. Because he doesn't want you to start pulling stuff and you to pull something that is accidentally supporting something much heavier, and for you to be crushed by further aftershocks. So he's gonna strike it with an Eldritch Blast, fully collapse everything over there to the best of his ability, so that everything is stable and stationary. And he estimates it'll take you guys about 8 hours of work, slowly pulling away rock and rubble to clear a space enough for you all to walk through.
I am probably at 2 levels of exhaustion and have lost the Oni at this point, I would say. So I do not have dark vision anymore.
Right. As the Oni fades from you, you strain to keep it up, knowing you need it here more than ever before. But you begin to get a migraine from the effort, and as it leaves you and your world grows black, as you look up into true darkness, the way a human's eyes would see it, And you exhale
Uh,
wearily.
I am going to kind of just put my hand on the Kanabo and say, "Thank you. I'll take it from here."
As Mathesis holds forth his wand, still a light, the only source of light for
Sorry.
those of you who cannot see in the dark. And Tor with the dust settling, stones collapsing. The tunnel itself is fully covered by just shifting a whole piece of wall that just kind of. Huh. Guess it's time to get to work.
How many people would you require to make checks for this? Or could I provide the help action by trying to move rock under Tor's direction?
Right. So if you wanted to use your Kanabo to kind of break up bigger pieces, so that like a person with normal human strength could pick that piece up and move it out of the way, rather than these massive like shale slabs, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Tour is going to take his shields and just start bashing rocks, trying to collapse them.
Sure.
Crack them up. As all of you, I guess all of you, begin earnestly making some effort against this. Is that a good assumption?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll do what I can.
Any other resource expenditures to speed this along?
Can we use just Eldritch Blast to like just break up the rocks?
Sure.
But would Shatter seem like it would be a situation where that would be too much?
Shatter might bring the whole tunnel down.
Yeah, so probably not. Okay.
All right. As you guys begin to lay into it, get some work done, I need for everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw.
I could have
With a minus, don't forget your penalties.
I could have cast freedom of movement on us to climb through. Those of us who needed to.
I'm going to choose to use magical guidance to give myself to add a D4.
Okay. Resulting in
A 12.
12. Okay. Mathesis, Alucard, Eken will all get another level of exhaustion.
Oh, that's my first one. Is there a way to add exhaustion onto this character sheet?
There is. It
Very
will,
top left.
It does use
The old rules?
the old rules, so you may want to do it as like a
Just -1 when I do any check or save.
yes. You may want to do it as like a resource in the middle there, like where you would have the resources. Like for example, Will, I just opened his sheet just for fun. He still has insect repellent recorded here in the resources, because you never know when you might.
I really don't need
Well, I just never took it off.
arrows because my arrows are free now.
So you may want to keep track of it separately there, because this is going to use D&D rules as they are. Yep. I will make the check for Tour. I've been making great rolls for Tour all night. Wow. It was not great, but it was a success. With a 16. So you guys begin to really dig into this. About 4 hours pass. Some of you feeling very belabored. You've been slamming away at the stone, pulling out these small pieces, tossing them aside. Off of the small platform in the water all around you, there are just piles of rock where you guys have just been tossing stuff off the side, out of the way. And it's just, you're just beginning to see near the top a small, like 3-inch wide space where you can kind of just look up and peer through and see to the other side. It's been about 4 hours of effort. I need for everyone to make a perception check.
Perception. Wow. Not great with perception.
Wow. Man, you guys have been rolling it tonight.
Without the Oni, I'm really not fantastic at perception.
Yeah.
Hey!
Okay, well, natural
He
20.
says.
Tour rolls an 8. Wow. That makes sense. Once again, the die are kind of matching what's going on here. Everyone else is helping out. It can now with 3 points of exhaustion.
3.
Is just unable to help as much.
Oh.
He's trying to assist, but he's just belabored. And as he takes a break, he kind of turns his kanabo up, holding onto the top of it, and kind of turns around and looks out. Can you see 3 large, brownish, copperish colored, insectoid-like creatures
No, I
crawling?
don't. No, that's a lie.
Crawling over the stalagmites, eyeing you in the distance. Large, frilled antennae coming off the fronts of their heads and swirling back. They look like dust mites, but they are the size of horses, as they are drawn to the commotion.
In a voice that is not familiar to most of you, given the combat experience of Iken, you hear, there is something coming for us. We must prepare for an ambush or battle.
Dorn immediately lights Flame Tongue.
Why now, of all places?
And as
I kinda
the
like
as the light
heft the
extends
combo.
out like sunlight to fill this space, it gleams off of the beady black eyes. These large creatures creeping in on you. And that is where we're going to stop for tonight. Until next week.
I knew
Party.
we weren't gonna get into combat. You silly.
As the party faces another terror, another tribulation in this strange and unusual terrain. Weary, spent, and faced with expending their greatest resources, or rather than save them for some larger battle down the road, we'll rejoin the party next week to see how they will make Arcana checks for me. Make Arcana or Nature checks for me, really quickly.
I think that I've had a character that died to these before.
I'm rolling terribly. Oh, I rolled that's an 11. That's definitely an 11.
It's alright. I'm just gonna go ahead and get a quick another natural 20. Real easy here. Just like that. I know it looks like a 7, but
Oh, yeah, I can see how. Yeah.
It's if you squint real hard, it's kind of green. So
I think we have a 16 in
That's
nature and a 17 in arcana.
Okay.
That's the highest.
Okay. Bell and
I could
Vale. Yes, this succeeds. This succeeds.
Okay.
Recognize.
Oh, nope, didn't die to this. Never fought this before.
Did you just show something?
Yeah.
He did.
Oh man.
Recognize rust monsters.
Oh no! No, Sid, why?
I didn't say Alucard recognized it, Jerry.
I know, I don't, but Jerry recognizes that.
I presumed these were Umber Hulks coming at us. and
Rust
I was
I
monsters
also thought they were like Umber
don't
Hawks or
work
Orange
on magical items. Am I remembering that correctly as a player above table?
Maybe.
Jerry.
What'd you ask?
I've never fought Rust monsters. I know that they
I
can turn
have.
things into rust, but I don't know what the
I
extent of their powers are.
Don't think it works on magical. If it works on magical items, going home.
Well, I mean, your
Going
Kanabo.
home.
No. Just don't leave the Kanabo in the Kanabo, and don't take the
You're right.
sword out.
I could. Well, the Kanabo is also made of metal, William.
Oh, you're right. I just.
You
Ah.
see. Well, you
why do
see,
I-
William.
I
Well,
thought
you
it was-
can't rust flame.
Ah, plasma is technically
Not metal.
not metal. That's
Strangely,
a true statement.
Famously, plasma has never been metal.
You're right.
Famously.
I could attack with my fists.
Also not metal.
Also,
However,
Also
if they,
not
if they
metal.
decide
Probably.
to attack me and the DM goes, "Hey, they hit your back. What's on your back? A metal Kanabo. Gone." I will go home. I will do that. Iken will go home.
here, this next,
Iken will go home.
interesting
It's been
question.
great to fight with you all.
Thank you very much.
I'm-
My slipper gone. My Kanabo gone. Me
Tinderbox?
gone.
Gone.
That's tinderbox gone. Everything.
Tinderbox.
Iken's out. Bye. Thank you very much.
Iken
My-
is
here's a
Audi
weird question.
5000. Yeah.
My
Okay.
belt.
What
my
happens
pants up.
if
gone.
What happens if a Warforged is attacked by a rust monster?
It's a
Like
bad
they
I
thing.
just
think that
don't
he would
think it works
spoil-
on magical items. I don't.
Things
he'd have to-
we
he
will
would have to
have
answer
to
a different question.
discover next Sunday. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Looking forward to seeing you all next week for the next minor inconvenience, significant threat, obstacle for the
Friend?
11th Ornament.
Friend, we don't have a ranger. Get over it.
Good night.
Let's
Night.
go on a minute.